Hi. So, yeah, I know I'm a little late. 17 minutes. I usually start exactly at 8 o'clock. Lately I've been starting a little later. Like 8:05 or 8:03, something like that, but still. Um, Two things. You're probably wondering, why are we having Minecraft Wednesday? And that's because Dreamlight Valley, and I totally forgot about it and didn't realize that it was going to take so long. Dreamlight Valley had an update today, and I didn't think there was free content. I thought it was just going to be. Well, I guess there is supposed to be free content, but I thought it was supposed to be next month. Um, anyway, Wish Blossom Ranch has arrived to the valley, but I can't afford Wish Blossom Ranch. It's a DLC. It means you gotta pay for it. So, why is it taking that long? Did my husband surprise me and not tell me? Did they decide to give Wish Blossom Ranch to me because, um, I bought all the other DLCs? We can't find out until it's done, and it literally, last time I looked, said an hour and 9 minutes, so I guess we'll do this until we can do that. And if we can't do that on stream, if we can't do that on today's stream, we'll definitely um record something a little later in the day. So, I finally finished the chapter that I was working on. The only thing is I haven't pieced it together yet. Um, because like I said, I am going through it with fine-tooth comb, basically, and turning it into an audio so I can see if there's any typos, or like see how certain things are interpreted by the speech-lo program to see how they sound. And since I'm turning it into an audio for my own self at the moment, I had to do certain things, like where there shouldn't have been a comma, I had to put a comma, you know? Or I had to put period, or, oh, it was like, the red, period, or the pink. Normally you could ask the red or the pink. And, that's just normal speech. But, oh, we were talking about lipstick in that particular part of the chapter. Um, so, it was the red over the pink, um, and Jesse's, Jesse's trying to be loyal to Sean while he's being loyal to Chantel. I mean, for sticking with his promise to Chantel that I think we need to turn down that heater. Ugh. Okay, he made a promise to Chantel that he'd get Sean and Ashley back together, and then he, with his fingers crossed behind his back, he promised Sean that he, um, what, honey? What? Food's fine. Oh, wire's a little low. I'll get you some more. Just a sec. That is Sam, if you heard him. Sure you did. He's pretty loud. And if you didn't, you totally missed out. But yeah, I'm like so jealous right now that Sorrow and Mr. Star and Sky, they got Wish Blossom Ranch, and they get to do the new content, and they get to do the new content and share it with their viewers. I don't get that privilege. Okay, I gave you more than I usually do. There. Okay, so I have a water bowl at the bottom of Bobby's cat tree. That's for the boys. And then I've got one up in her cat tree for Bobby. So I gave her a little bit more than what I would normally give her. Just because that's what I do, because I'm a little bit clumsy sometimes. So I don't necessarily want to go and like fill up their bowl and take it across the living room to the bottom of her cat tree. So I fill up a water bottle, one of those bottles that previously had water in it from Costco, and I fill that up and take it into the living room and fill up their water with it. Sit. Sit. That's outside, baby. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that it's garbage day for somebody. But in our neighborhood, it's garbage day on Tuesdays. Anyway, so yesterday I totally forgot I had to go with my father-in-law to his appointment. And then it turned out that, okay, this is going to sound gross to somebody, I'm sure, but they put shots in his eyes and they dilated his eyes. So his eyes were pretty much useless for driving. Well, actually, they were pretty much useless. It's like, I don't know if any of you know what a cheesecloth is, but it's like putting a cheesecloth in front of your eyes and trying to drive. So you wouldn't be able to do it. So I drove us back to his house, and then I decided I was going to walk home. Yeah. It's like 3 miles. I think my father-in-law's nuts. He said it was like 2 miles. I think he's nuts because it took a lot longer. Um, for me to walk from my house to the North Carson Walmart, it usually takes about 2 hours. But that's a route, that's a yeah, a route I know. I know exactly how to get there. I know exactly how to get back. And I swear it takes a lot less time coming back than it does going. But whatever. So it takes me, like 2 hours, maybe. Um, yeah, I think it takes me 2 hours. Anyway, whatever. So, my in laws, though, they live over behind our Target. And so you gotta go past Target, you gotta go past Walmart, the Bodine's, Costco, the Fandango, Papa Murphy's and all that stuff, the Fandango, a whole bunch of car dealerships, uh, depending on which route you go. There's a gas station, Batteries Plus, and it sounds like a short trick, short trip. I'm just stumbling over words I don't usually say. Anyway, it sounds like a short trip, but it's really not. 'Cause one part, okay, so I stopped off at Best Buy for 2 reasons. One, to see if they maybe had a purple OtterBox case for my phone. I've got a S25. Anyway, I wanted to see if they had a purple OtterBox case for my phone. And they don't have it in the store, but they could order it for me. So I loved that idea. Still the same price though. Really sucks. It's like $65 because it's $64.99. You know, I guess it's like standard in the industry or something like that. Like a standard price for OtterBox cases. Because, every once in a while I have to have my husband help me with something on my phone. Or like my sister's been calling me all day and I need him to monitor my phone while I go upstairs. And he's got a black case for the back of his phone. So, it could get confused. Oh, I did do the top. Okay. I don't know why I thought I didn't do the top. So, not so silently in the background, I've got YouTube videos playing, which I'm going to have to watch again later because I can't hear them right now. If I can hear them, I'm good with saying, okay, I watched it, I'm done. But if I can't hear it, then I'm not good with that. Well, unless it's one of those Dreamlight Valleys where this is what I'm doing for my dream snap and it took 3 hours to put together and stuff. then I might be like, okay, we watched it, it's good. I think I've got one in here. Yeah, this one that's playing right now. I've got at least one in here where I started to watch it, and the only problem is I couldn't watch it all in one try. So I've been watching it a little bit here and a little bit there. Well, anyway, whenever I get to play Dreamlight Valley, we're probably just going to be doing, unless Wish Blossom Ranch just all of a sudden doesn't cost anything. We're probably going to be doing, just the Dream Snap and, we'll probably be doing just the Dream Snap and, finding the blue chest. Maybe seeing what we need to stock up on and trying to collect that. We want to be ready for... You know what? We'll do this one first. We want to be ready for being able to play Wish Blossom Ranch when the time comes. Unless we got it today and that's why it's going to take so long. I think the reason why it's taking so long, though, is that sometimes our internet is strong and sometimes it's not. So they were going to have it fixed by today, and evidence to the contrary, because I have never had a Dreamlight Valley update that took that long to upload on a normal basis. Anyway, I've been texting all the times when the internet went out and all the errors, and I've been keeping a video log of all this stuff. So like if we needed to if we needed to keep a log, we've got one. I was just thinking if we need to like sue them because their internet's crappy, being crappy. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not a word that you want to say on a Minecraft stream. But at least I'm streaming something, I don't feel like a dirty liar. But anybody who expected me to be streaming Dreamlight Valley today, they're probably going to get disappointed anyway because, Wish Blossom Ranch, and I really want to play it. Not sure if I want to be able to ride horses, because riding horses in Minecraft is, a little, it's a little funky. So is Dreamlight Valley going to have it be just as a little funky, or is it going to be a good ride? I don't know. I like running around my valley. So after I get done with this house, I think I'm going to check on the download real quick. So I'm going to end up going out of this, not not turning it off completely, just, yeah, you'll probably see that, the spinning, yeah, I don't know what you call it, but anyway, it's the thing that goes in circles, and, it's basically saying waiting, 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 without having words. No, but it's like I am so jealous because everybody else can play it, and well, it seems like everybody else can play it, and I can't because I don't have it. Unless, like I said, my husband surprised me and bought it for me, but I don't think he would. That's the problem. For Christmas, I want Wish Blossom Ranch. I want the I want a tablet, and I want my husband to have a tablet. Remember, for all of you iPhone users, that's an iPad for Android. An Android iPad. It's the best way I can explain it. Yeah, we had to explain that to my mom one time because she she knew iPad. She just assumed, like a whole bunch of other people, that it's called an iPad. But I had to go and explain that this is like an iPad, but it's a Samsung. But Samsung, so it has nothing to do with an, you know, it's not an Apple product. And I still don't think she quite understood. But, everyone keeps teasing her. Not me, because I think I'm going to be like that too. Um, but everyone keeps teasing her when, uh, that when my dad goes, if, if she's still alive and he isn't, that she's not even going to be able to turn on the TV because, dad's got so many gadgets to do this and that around the house, that, she's not going to know how to run it. Although, uh, although if she's got the right TV, I think that you can, go HEYGOOGLE and have the TV come on. I don't know if you can, like, change channels and stuff, but I know that my husband's got it to where he can turn my TV off. And I am angry about that because he turns it off when I'm still awake. Like when I've had too much Coca-Cola. And it's really weird because it happens when I have the fountain drink Coca-Cola, but if I have it out of a 2-liter bottle or whatever, it doesn't, it makes me fall asleep. instead of staying up. So, so, um, so yesterday, like I said, I ended up, um, they've got a hill that goes down to their house. They picked the weirdest spot for a house. But anyway, so they got a hill that goes down to their house, and so I had to walk up that hill. It's got a sidewalk and everything, so no big deal. Um, but I'm not used to walking up hills. And then, I walked around, like, I guess it's like next to Home Depot. But then I walked over to the spot where Target is so I could get a drink of water because I the cold was getting into my lungs and um I needed some water. So I did that and then I walked out and crossed the street as soon as it was safe. Hold on, I will continue this in just a moment because, like I said, I want to check on that. It is 26% downloaded. That sucks. Okay. Anyway, so across the street, and the problem is that there's no sidewalk on that side of the street. Or there was sidewalk to a point, something like that. Anyway, so I got down to the corner, but the corner is you're literally walking on the uh on the highway. The yeah, the highway, not the freeway. Freeway is like, 4 or 6 lanes. This is just two going in each direction. But anyway, so I was walking along that until I got to the it's not a driveway, but we'll call it a driveway. The driveway that can lead to the church up there, or it can lead to Best Buy. You go up to the stop sign, you turn left, right. You turn right, sorry. You turn right, and there's Best Buy. Well, anyway, so I went over, to Best Buy because I wanted to check on the OtterBox. Well, then I went across probably risked my life if I'm gonna, to be totally freaking honest, I probably risked my life. But anyway, I was in the Bank of America parking lot. So I was relatively safe since there was one person at the drive up ATM and that was it. Everything else was pretty much dead, so I didn't think I had to worry too much. I don't know if that branch is closed or if there just wasn't enough people in the parking lot or what, but it seemed okay. It seemed very quiet and I didn't have to worry about it. But then there's the road to go down to the sidewalk, and that had no sidewalk to lead to the sidewalk, so I was kind of risking my life there. But anyway, I finally got down to the sidewalk, crossed the street, and went down behind, or up behind Walmart, getting all of my directions. mixed up verbally, but I know what I was doing. Anyway, and then I walked down that, remember I said I had to go up. So I walked down to uh, where Costco is, went in and uh, went to the bathroom there. It's the only way I can say it because obviously it's not upstairs. It's just, on the, um, the ground floor. So it doesn't make any sense to say upstairs. So anyway, I did that. And then I um, crossed the street to go to a place called Bodine's. It's a casino, but it also has a restaurant, and they're supposed to be having Thanksgiving dinner. So, like, if we wanted to, we could go there for dinner on Thursday. But I don't think we're going to do that. We're probably going to have our own. But if they're going to, like, have it next year, then we already know, probably add at least $5 to the add like $5 to the price tag and, you know, be safe or plan for $30 a person because it's only $16.99 this year, but you know how inflation's been lately. So, just in case, that's something I'm going to do when we go to Disneyland, like outside the park in what was it called? Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Oh, or Earl of Sandwich, I think it was. They had a chicken, um, like a McChicken, except for however they make it, and the sandwich itself, the sandwich all by itself, $16. And then you had to go and buy your drink and fries, if they even have fries. Might have been a bag of chips. I don't know. But $16 just for a sandwich. Oh, heck no. I can go to Costco and buy a bag of chicken patties. There's like 20 of them in the bag, and make my own McChicken for a lot smaller price. I almost think that that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to go back to like the 1950s where, you had a home cooked meal for dinner. Which would be okay. If food wasn't so expensive. Okay. So anyway, um, after Bodine's, I went and crossed the highway. Um, don't worry, there's a crosswalk and a button to tell you when to cross and all that stuff. So anyway, I crossed the highway and there's a blue building in town, and we walked over there. I mean, I walked over there. Um, Y'all would have came with me if my battery hadn't died. And then uh, just before the blue building, I turned right because that's where the street was. Well, one problem with that, there was a cop pulling over a car, and I didn't know I needed to go to that street. I thought maybe I'd missed the spot that I was looking for, and um, um, I thought I'd missed the spot or hadn't gotten far enough down the street because I remember it being straight. You look left off that street and the overpass was right there. Well, no, it's like you go down the street that the car had been pulled over at, and he was that car was still pulled over when I finally found where I was supposed to go because I was supposed to go down the street where the car was pulled over. I wish I would have known that to begin with. 'Cause I might not have been quite as sore. But anyway, I went like way far down the street, and then I'm like, no, this isn't it. And so I went down the street where the car was pulled over, and I almost talked to the cop and asked him if that's where I needed to go, but I was like, because I was half thinking that it might be like, not Rescue 911, the other show. Oh, Cops, where like you where the cop pulled over the car, and then all of a sudden he's getting shot. If you don't know what Cops is, please look it up. It's C dot zero, C dot O dot, C period O O period P period S period, I think, or maybe it was just COPS. I have no idea. It's been so long since I saw that show, but it was a pretty good show at the time. It was just a show like America's Most Wanted, where you're like um where it's real life situations that actually happened. And well, with America's Most Wanted it was something different, but anyway, like they were just starting to use the vest cams, I think, or maybe they had a no, they had a person with like a Sony Handycam, or probably something better than that even, but handheld camera. And and like when they're doing when the cop is chasing after the criminal, the cameraman is risking his life because he's having to go and run with the cop. What if the cameraman got shot? No. What if the cameraman got shot? That would be bad. I just thought of that. I don't think it ever happened, or like if it did, it happened once, but I don't think it ever happened. And probably those cameramen had, bulletproof vests too. Of course, I found one flaw in the bulletproof vest. Doesn't help if they shoot you in the head. Not trying to be, like doomsayer here or something like that, but Seriously. Doesn't help. Which for some reason reminded me of Gone in 60 Seconds with Nicolas Cage. Do you want it in the heart or in the chest? He goes in the chest, and the guy goes in and points the gun at his head. That's not nice. Yeah. I mean, not that he's supposed to be nice in the first place. Okay, after we no, never mind, we'll do it now. Okay, we're on 32. Dang. And when I turned my TV on, it said something about not having enough storage space. And I don't know what the heck my TV's smoking because except for a few passwords, like, and I don't think that's stored in the I don't know if that's stored in the TV. I'll put it that way. I don't know if that's stored in the TV or not. But maybe when maybe when I can, we'll show you the. I'm not going the wrong way on purpose, so to show you that part, but because that would just be silly. But yeah, maybe I can convince my husband um to show you part of the way from my in-laws' house to our house. It seems a whole lot shorter when you're driving, but when you're walking, it takes forever. But part of it, okay, so I went down that road and I finally found the overpass. Well, the overpass had a sidewalk on both sides, but I chose to cross cross the street and go on the right side. And it goes right over the freeway, so I kept thinking that there was cars coming up the street, but it was really just a freeway. And I'm one of those people that I grew up in California. We're always told, be careful. We were always told, be careful, be aware of your surroundings, make sure you go on well-traveled streets, stuff like that. Really don't walk alone because just a block or two away from my grandparents' house at the time, a little girl got kidnapped just trying to go to her friend's house. And I don't know if they ever found her. It's like it's in the news for a little bit, and then you may or may not ever find out if the kid got found, which is where America's Most Wanted comes in, because uh they go and give you a scenario like, um little Bob was going down the street and he got kidnapped by somebody, and they, we know that he got taken to McDonald's for lunch, but it was like in the next state over or something like that. And if you see little Bob, you tell us. And then, sometimes little Bob will get found, but sometimes you find out that uh the bad guy did something bad. Or like it's um the mom and dad split up, uh they both wanted to keep the kids, so the one parent went and grabbed the kid and ran or something. Okay, we need to change the subject. So anyway, I got onto the overpass, and it lets out into a neighborhood, and if you walk down far enough, there's the bowling alley on the left, and there's like a little bit of an empty field on the right. Well, if you go past the empty field, there's the sidewalk again. So I went down to the corner for the sidewalk, and I don't remember crossing the street twice, but I must have. So I crossed Carson Street the the first time, and then I went and crossed the side street, and then I walked up to the corner past the guy that was smoking. I don't know why. Okay, so first of all, poor guy's in a wheelchair. Second of all, it was cold yesterday. He decides to, being outside smoking, uh, not far enough, not far enough up to be at the bus stop. I didn't understand why he chose to be at that exact spot. But anyway, whatever happened. So I went and crossed the street at the corner, and then walked down the street to the movie theater, because I keep asking my husband, I want to know what's playing in December, not November. Polar Express is going to be playing in November. It's already November, but it's going to be playing this month. And I would really love to watch the Polar Express in the theater. I think that would just be so cool. But even if I can't see it this year, maybe they'll be playing it next year. You know? And I am so bummed they were playing The Sound of Music, one of my favorite movies ever, in the movie theater on the 16th. So, like 3 days ago. And I'm like, oh man. I mean, I can watch it anytime I want. I've got it on DVD, but there's just something about being able to watch it in the theater. So we've got call filters on our phones, and they don't work very well. The spam calls are still getting through. Anyway, so then um there's a walking overpass, I guess you could call it, but it's all enclosed and everything. It looks like you're indoors. Anyway, it's like the one in Reno for the Atlantis. Um, anyway, and it goes over to the Fandango. Well, I had to go to the bathroom, and um, I didn't want to use the one at the movie theater only because I couldn't afford to watch a movie, so I could not afford to watch a movie. So I didn't feel right using their bathroom. So I went over to the Fandango, and I couldn't remember where the bathroom was, but I found it pretty easily. Um, you get all, I got to ride the escalator down, and that helped because my knees and ankles were, well, I think it was my right knee and my left ankle were definitely complaining about walking. Um, so so we got to, I think we got to their house at, oh, excuse me. Um, I think we got to their house at probably noon or maybe like 11:45, something like that. I don't know. We'll say noon. Anyway, I got home by uh 3 something. Like, might have been 3 actually. But anyway, I was pretty happy with myself cuz I made such good time. Even with all the stops and stuff. Um so anyway, I went down the escalator, and it just so happened that the bathroom is, turn left off the escalator, and I think, it was like, right there. Well, okay, there's a mirrored wall, and it said men's room, and I assumed that the women's room, I know, never assume, but, I assumed that the women's room was gonna be right there too, and there was two, I don't exactly know what they were, but female workers that, they looked like they were probably part of the maintenance crew, to clean up the bathrooms or something. And they were having a conversation about something. I don't know what, because they were like speaking in Spanish or something. As much as I have my characters, um, I literally have my characters, they can speak every language in the world because I just think that'd be so cool. Like how, Indiana Jones, he can go into a, a certain area and he knows their language. I always thought that was really cool. But, I made my characters know every language. And in one of my books, I've actually got, um, there's the language arts club, I guess. Um, I think that's what I made it. It's like the language arts club. And this one guy is the president, and he's looking at all these weird symbols on Sean and Ashley's van. And, it's just, um, it's just, uh, like if they're gonna sign something, they don't sign it with their name unless it's, like a check or something like that, an official document. But if they're gonna sign something, they go and put their special symbol. So like Sean, it's a um, thundercloud with two S's in it, and Ashley, what was Ashley's? Um, I can't remember Ashley's right now. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's a heart with an A in it. And when she gets married, it's gonna, be an A, and, whatever his uh first letter of his first name is, probably. Okay, so I guess after we're done with this house, we're gonna check on it again. I'm getting antsy because it's supposed to be that we're doing Dreamlight Valley today, and I don't want to wait until tomorrow. Especially if Wish Blossom Ranch came, or that new Cinderella content that everybody thinks is coming out in December. Because why would, without buying the DLC, why would there be need for an update? Unless my husband surprised me and I just don't know it. I don't think he would. He keeps telling me that whatever I want or need is not important. Anyway, so after the Fandango, I went out to the sidewalk. I kind of took the long way around because I was hoping it had um, another driveway on the other side, and it didn't. It's only got one driveway in, and well, it's got two driveways out, but you gotta know. And I I knew that I couldn't just walk down the street with the movie theater on it, because you get to the point where there's no sidewalk anymore, because of course the powers that be have decided that nobody walks in this town. But anyway, so there's no sidewalk over there, and um, you have to go back to the main road. So I just walked down the main road, and thank you to whatever car dealership had um, a, it was brick or cement or something like that. And I could sit down for a moment. And then I got bored and started walking again. I probably should have sat down a lot longer. I should have sat down a lot longer. But the problem was is that like I might have taken out my phone and I might have taken out my phone and read my book if I had had battery. But I forgot that it was on 5% when I went to bed, and this phone actually retains. Oh, okay. This phone actually holds holds the charge. It doesn't go and die while you're sleeping, which is awesome and great. Okay. Anyway, so I walked down that street forever, or at least it felt like it at the time, because it was cold outside, and and it just seemed like it was taking forever. But I finally got down to the um I finally got down to the gas station and went over to the street I live on. It's at the back of the gas station. Um, I had to be careful because this one vehicle, I don't know what the heck they were trying to do, but they backed up and went forward again. And if I would have been in the way, that would have been bad. But I wasn't, so. But, yeah, so then I just walked down to our street. I mean, our house. And let myself in, and I sat down for the longest time. And I wish I would have known what I knew later, because I wouldn't have been hurting as much. I have some leftover uh, pain medicine from when I got my gallbladder out, and I used one of those. I had a lot of aches and a lot of pains, and the only one that wouldn't go away is my right ankle. I don't know why, but my right ankle was uh very, well, not very sore, but sore enough, and it just would not stop hurting. So I had to put my ankle brace on, but I had the wrong one on. But because I had the wrong one on, it had a more solid hold on the ankle, I guess, and it felt better in the morning. Anyway, it was a long walk. Oh, and I found out that our local car dealership has some, it has, oh, what was it? Oh, I think it was like the end of the year deals, or, um, there's like end of the year deals and, demonstration something. Bless you. I don't know, it was demonstration something, and I was thinking, oh, maybe they'll be like really cheap. And I read the thing and it says you pay $8,000. But then I read it again and it's like $8,000 less than what you would have paid if it was totally brand new. So then I was trying to look at the price tag. I believe it said, I didn't have my glasses on. I believe it said $52,000 is what you pay. I'm like, oh, heck no. So, yeah, I think I forgot to tell him that. I know I told him that there was some demonstration somethings, but I don't know if I actually told him that, I was looking to see if we could get him a newer car. Because technically, they know that the truck's probably going to break down. So they want him to have a 2019 or newer. We can't afford a 2019 or newer, but he's told them it's going to be a good 6 months before we can do anything about changing the car. I think if we found the right car collector, I don't want to get rid of his car, but he's got a 1966 Plymouth Belvedere 2. And I think if we found the right collector, that, maybe we can make a tidy profit and be able to buy the car. I mean, the 2019 or newer. But I don't know. I just know right now we cannot afford like $300, $400, $500, whatever, for a car payment. It might be cheaper now because we've got a house. So we got like bless you. My cat keeps sneezing. We got like pretty good credit scores. That's what I was trying to think of. Anyway, yesterday was ridiculous. And the funny thing is that I did get home before my husband, but only by like 10 or 20 minutes. Probably wasn't even 20 minutes. It was probably like 10 minutes. I had enough time to take my shoes off, and I think I went upstairs, and then I came down and crashed for not crashed, but sat for a little bit because I couldn't move without hurting. Oh, I made myself lunch because literally when I left the house yesterday morning, I had only had corn chips and a handful of peanuts, which is actually too much salt for me. I need to find a better quick grab breakfast. But I know this granola has too much sugar. It's got honey in it, and it's like too much sweets. I like granola, but it's still too much sweet. Anyway, what else can we talk about? Okay, so like I said, I just before my battery died while he was in at his appointment, um, w- uh, I got to read a little bit of the um, the section of book that I am working on, so I could kind of work out. So I could kind of work out the, uh, where the chapters should be. I mean, it's got established chapters already, but like I'm busting it down a little bit more because I like to go scene by scene. And when I put the thing in, I had a different. I mean, and when I put the chapters in, I had a different idea of what it should be. And now I'm like questioning why I did that. I think, well, I know I did that because I was like, this is all kind of the same part, and I don't feel like making more chapters, so, But then I'm like, because I'm trying to think of you all, if you see that there's a book with 101 chapters, you're not going to want to read it because you're going to be thinking it's a huge book. But then you look at the size of the book and it's like, oh, well, yeah. Huh? This one's. It's like the same color, but when you look up here, and that all look like they're different colors. I am so confused. Let's see. No, it still comes up the same color. That's so weird. Okay. So anyway, that one's acacia. And what's supposed to be here? Oh, the dark oak. The dark oak. Sorry, not trying to scare anybody. It was supposed to be more like well, I guess it was supposed to be scary, but um not trying to like scare people, just trying to funny scare people. Make a funny out of it. Um Kind of like the ghost light on Toy Story. Okay, let's check that download. Wow, 47. 47. Okay, wait, how many houses do we have done on this street? I'm counting side street to side street here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So after this house and the one next to it, I think we should have 3 sections left to the corner. And then we do the other side of the street. Yeah, the whole time I was walking yesterday, it was like, I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done this. But I did it. I used to walk 5 or 6 miles, something like that, to our Walmart because somebody's bright idea was we've got Kmart in town, so we had to build Walmart like outside of town by the Anheuser-Busch factory, which now says Budweiser on the outside of it. I thought they made more than that, but apparently that's what people knew it as, so they changed the name. And I remember when we were in Brownies, I was like 7 years old. And I keep saying I was 7 years old, but I know I was in Brownies for like 3 years. And if I would have had somebody actually able to help me out, I would have probably been um, a troop leader by now. But um, they had junior Girl Scouts at the they had junior Girl Scouts at the elementary school that I went to. It's called Cleo Gordon. Uh, and and they had I think they had them all together. Like if you're in Daisy's, you're there, and if you're in Junior Girl Scouts, you're there, and if you're in Brownies, you're there. But like all at the same time. I wasn't used to that, but I kept forgetting uh that I was supposed to go, and then on top of that, um nobody ever kept up on the dues. So it was like, if you don't bring dues next time, you can't come. And I was like, well, I'm not coming then. It's like I wanted to go, but I didn't have any friends in that group. I didn't know any of the girls, and I was one of those shy people that didn't want to, like be uh didn't go up to somebody and go, "Hi, I'm Tina." You know. Now sometimes I'll go up and talk to people. Or like yesterday while we're at the um appointment, this couple came in with either their daughter or their driver. But anyway, the wife was in a wheelchair, and she had the one door open, but she can't have, she can't hold two doors open at once. I went and opened up the other door, and he thought that I was trying to get up to leave and that they were in the way, um, but their driver or their daughter, whatever she was, um, she knew better. I was just helping out. I'm suddenly wondering something. Do I have my mother-in-law's cell phone number uh in my contacts list? Because if I do, yay! If I don't, I need to put it in there because I know I will ignore it. And if she's like at Walmart with a dead battery on her, they call it a scooter. Um, it's one of those, yeah, and it's called a scooter, mobility scooter. A lot of people use them at Disneyland, and some other people use it to, get to the store because they can't walk there on their own. Anyway, like sometimes she goes to Walmart and her battery is dead, so then she calls up my husband, and because that's her son, and he might ignore her thinking that it's just Mikey, why is my internet not working, or something like that, or he's at work, and so she'll call me instead. Or one time, I seem to remember she was at the store and she wanted my husband to go and pick up the jacket or coat, whatever you call it. Um, it's a nice warm flannel one. She wanted him to pick that up so they could. Ow, 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 ow. Sorry, my knee is being stupid. Anyway, so they could keep his dad's present a secret. Which, I'm cool with that. You know, it's usually a Christmas present or a birthday present, and she does sneaky things like that, like keeping him over at our house for a little bit until she can wrap it. But it does use, okay, I know I need to do that, but it does use up extra gas that we need for other things just to go all the way over to her house, because I think it's 3 miles over to their house. It seemed like a lot longer walk to get to. It seemed like a lot longer walk to get home from their house than it would have coming home from Walmart. Anyway, so I was reading my book yesterday to see like where we could um like break up part of the book um because I like to break it up into scenes. So so like um there's Ashley getting dressed. That's what I just finished with, but I haven't pieced it together yet. And then there's Justin finally showed up. He was late for some reason or another, as Chantel puts it. Doesn't sound like a Chantel thing to say. Some reason or another. I think she was trying to, prod Sean into being rude to Justin and taking Ashley out for himself, but you have to read the book to find out exactly what happens. Well, no, because I can't explain something else without, you know. Okay, so anyway, Justin shows up and Sean calls into the. He's sitting in William's favorite chair in the living room, and armchairs, like a lazy boy, a recliner. Yeah. Um. Anyway, the most comfortable recliner you can think of. And probably all the ones that uh all all uh all of them ones that can help you up if you need them to. I don't know. I didn't actually develop them that much. Okay, so we're all done. And we just need to start in on the next color. Okay. I wonder if it's going slower because 1, 2, 3, 4. I wonder if it's actually going a little bit slower because I'm streaming Minecraft. I hope not. Just seems to be taking forever. And, you can't play your game if it's updating, and it doesn't make any sense because I thought that the new DLC was going to cost money, and I don't know what they could have been adding. Unless, like I said, my husband, got me Wish Blossom Ranch without telling me he did. But my controller's always been in the spot that I left it in the night before. So either he's actually paying attention for once and, putting it exactly the way that I had it, or something weird's going on. There. See, I was just asking for Wish Blossom Ranch for Christmas. That's all I was asking for, is for Christmas, because, Christmas is when you get um stuff that you want or you need. I'd rather get stuff I want for Christmas and then get stuff I need, just there we go. And then get stuff I need, during the year. Like if you need undergarments, you don't want to get those for Christmas. If you need socks, you don't want to get that for Christmas. Of course, you don't want to necessarily get a shirt that says Merry Christmas for Christmas either, but And for you who do not understand why, think about it. It's Christmas Day, and you're getting a shirt that says Merry Christmas, so you can only wear it that day and hope that you fit into it next year. I only say it that way because um, when I went in for my gallbladder surgery, I found out I was a certain weight and did not like the idea. Like, I don't want to start looking like grandma. Grandma was not a skinny person, but I mean, she wasn't one of those people that would have to go to Walmart and use the electric cart and, like, a fourth of their butt is going off on one side and a fourth of their butt's going off on the other side. She wasn't like that, but I'm just saying she wasn't skinny. So, I don't want to be uh, overweight like grandma. I would rather be a nice, healthy weight for myself. And so, my husband doesn't understand why do I want to take the cats with me. It's like, because I can't go on a walk by myself. It just doesn't work. I get to be like, I get to thinking, why am I doing this? This makes no sense. I'm not an outdoorsy person. Oh, okay. I'm not an outdoorsy person. So, I get to thinking, why am I doing this? And if I can't come up with a decent reason, then I'm like, I'm not gonna do this. But if I go out with my two boy kitty cats, and if we can ever get Bobby to come with us, Bobby, I think she would be happy going in a baby stroller places. She can go out and explore and still have and we still have the security of knowing exactly where she is. But I have to be able to get her into the baby stroller first. We bought a stroller for our cats, and it's one of those that people would get for their baby, and I love it. But I don't know what we would do. Like, where would we go? Would we go to the park? You take your dog to the park, not your cat. Although, I think Bobby would be like, oh my goodness, that's a goose, And she'd be probably looking at it like, what is that? Okay. Um, yeah, so the other night it said it was a snowy night. And you know what happened? No snow. It snowed somewhere. but it did not snow here. I think the sensor has got to be in like a Tahoe-ish area because it will say it snowed over here and it didn't. Okay. So after we're done with this house, we are gonna check that again. I know, it's getting a little annoying, but I mean, it might be getting a little annoying, but I really want to play Dreamlight Valley so I can get my dream snap done and everything. But seriously, if it gets to be 11... Wait, what does that say? Oh, okay. So 721, and that's the first three numbers of my husband's phone number. You don't get to learn the other four numbers. But, then I realized, oh, it's not him. I'm gonna be, like, screaming if they call from my husband's number again. I think I made them think twice about that one. Because, the one time my husband got a spam call from his own number. That was on a different phone carrier, but he got a spam call from his own phone number. And one time I got a spam call from his number, and I'm like, this is not good. And I think we went to the police station and said, look, they're using our phone number. And they're like, there's nothing we can do about it. Well, that's what Verizon's trying to tell us, and I thought Verizon was one of the big companies, which means that they can look it up. So, unless Verizon themselves are the ones spam calling people, which I wouldn't put it past them right now, but hopefully that's not the case. Okay. Anyway, hopefully that's not the case. I keep on having little daydreams that, we're making a movie or a TV show about my books, and, somebody walks in and they look exactly like one of my characters. And, I'm like, if I could actually do that, that would be so cool. So, I think the good news is that we're on 6. The bad news is that we still got to do the other side of the street here. And then we'll be on 7. And then as soon as we're done with 7, we just need to do 8, 9, and 10. And we'll be all good. But that's going to be a while. I mean, it always takes a long time. It always takes a long time to build anything in Minecraft. I mean, unless you're just building a house, and then that can take just a couple of hours or less, depending on how many times you built it. Like this one, I can build in about 5 minutes, I think. Anyway, it doesn't take very long. We'll say 5 to 15 minutes. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and this one's... Oh, I went all the way to town. I keep thinking I need to go and put more in, and... Okay, so... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Really? So there's 5 more sections. I thought we'd already done some of this. Ah, weird. Oh well. So we got 5 more sections of 7. Grr. Arg. That's not what I wanted. Ooh, we're up to 62. %, and then we'll be able to piece that together. And okay, so I got on at 8:15ish, and it said an hour and 9 minutes, and it's only on 62%. But when you say you're going to stream at 8 o'clock, you're supposed to stream at 8 o'clock. And I think I will go until 11:15 today because I was about 15 minutes late. And yeah. So, so like Sean calls into Ashley's room and says that Justin's here. He's just assuming, obviously. But Noah had gone into Ashley's room to ask her a question. We didn't develop the question. There is no thought of a question in my head. There's just, why would Noah be coming out of Ashley's room? And I was thinking a question. Maybe a question having to do with what to get Holly for her birthday, or maybe maybe it was a school question. We don't know. I didn't develop the question. It's not important to uh the scenario that is going on at that moment. It's not important to the scene. It's not going to further the storyline if we know exactly what the question is. Hopefully, if somebody is writing their own story, even if it's a comic book, hopefully somebody will learn something useful out of what I'm telling you for some of this stuff, because I'm trying to be continuity, did not blow it ever. And like on the Santa Claus 2, or yeah, it's the Santa Claus 2. This lady is being interviewed and she's